about 81's lack of feelings, causing 81 to snap. He grabs 15's by his clothes and explains that after the incident, he didn't make it back to the base. He woke up in a hospital and his brother was already in a box on a plane. Doctors told him that he passed out 100 yards from the perimeter, so his brother died because 81 couldn't last a little longer. He thinks the medal only signifies the worst day in his life. 81 understands everyone's feelings, but this isn't about them anymore. They need to return to the base to warn the world about the alien threat. At first 15 can only stare at how everyone is inspired by 81's words and rush to help. The tank still won't start, so 15 decides to finally jump in and uses his mechanic knowledge to get the tank going. The guys use a rope to pull the tank out of the debris, and the shaking opens a compartment with some food that 44 immediately shares. At that moment a flare appears in the sky and the team realizes that the robot must have stepped on the trap. Everyone rushes to get in the tank except for 15, who goes back to grab some ammo. The robot appears and opens fire at him, killing him right after he throws the ammo into the tank. 44 drives the tank through the forest while the guys use the ammo to open fire, but it seems human weapons don't cause any damage to it. The robot's attacks keep hitting the tank, so 44 forces the vehicle to go as fast as possible. When part of the tank catches on fire, the team immediately puts it out with an extinguisher, but clearly the armor can't last much longer. To the team's surprise, the robot suddenly stops following them, but that's because it's shooting more explosives. The bombs explode around the tank and throw everyone around, causing them to hit their heads on the walls. Yet 44 never stops driving. When the robot shoots several grenades, the resulting explosion is finally big enough to push the tank down the hill. It crashes into every tree in the way until it manages to leave the forest, and the team doesn't see the robot behind them anymore. Unfortunately, this is because the robot is now above them. It jumps off the cliff and lands in front of the tank to shoot a powerful laser beam. 44 manages to dodge it, however the robot starts chasing them again. The guys fire back at it with any weapon they can find, but it's still useless and 109 ends up losing an arm in the process. The robot then shoots the laser beam again and 44 tries her best to dodge it, but the tank still loses half its armor. 7 suddenly slips out and 81 grabs the stretcher's rope to keep it close, however another shot from the robot makes him lose it and 7 falls on the road. 81 then shoots at the mountain to cause a landslide that buries the robot. At that moment, the tank explodes. Another nightmare shows the brothers on the ground and 81 hearing his sibling telling him not to quit. Then 81 wakes up and searches the area. Unfortunately, everyone has been burned to death and he's the only survivor. Seeing some sparks on the rocks, 81 rushes to move them to look for the robot, but he only finds one of its arms. When he turns around, he sees the rest of the robot sending a signal to space. Afterward, 81 runs to the road and finds 7 still on the stretcher. Suddenly the robot shoots at the tank before approaching it, so 81 runs away.